Rachel Moreno had seen TL that has no biological function in the human body and is toxic at very low doses. Its soluble salts, particularly thallium sulfate, were used extensively as rodenticides and ant killers through much of the 20th century and produces, which is why it was attributed to a non-specific neuropathy of unclear origin rather than prompting a search for a toxic cause. Public record what she thought when she first reviewed Rachel's chart. She said she was struck by the combination alopecia, neuropathy, He said, "David has been making my morning coffee for the past several months. He started doing it last winter. He said he wanted to do more around the house." Dr. Anand ordered a comprehensive heavy metals blood and urine panel on the spot. She told Rachel she was not certain of anything yet, but that she wanted to rule something out. She did not tell Rachel what she was ruling out. She did not. Numbers meant, and she knew that Rachel was going home to the person who had been making her coffee every morning for 8 months. 13 minutes later, the Bihar County Criminal Investigations Division had a detective assigned to the case. Rachel Moreno was contacted by law enforcement at 3:44 p.m. that afternoon. She was not yet home. She was asked to go to a friend's house and not to return to her residence. She was told there was a concern about her safety that law enforcement was investigating. She was not told, yet, what the toxicology results showed. She has described that phone call the instruction not to go home without an explanation, and the 3 hours before the full picture was given to her as the strangest and most suspended feeling of her life. She went to her friend's house. She sat on the sofa. She waited. Who David Moreno was. David Moreno had grown up in Houston and had moved to San Antonio for work in his late 20s, where he had met Rachel through a mutual friend's social gathering. He was, by the accounts of people who had known him in professional contexts, competent and organized, a logistics manager who was good at systems, who thought in sequences and contingencies, who was known among his colleagues as methodical and reliable. He was not, by any prior documented account, violent. He had no criminal history. He had no record of prior domestic incidents. What the investigation's financial review established, David Moreno had, by late 2022, accumulated $278,000 in personal debt through a combination of failed private investment activities, a series of speculative positions in cryptocurrency and commodity futures that he had not disclosed to Rachel, and that had been deteriorating for approximately 18 months before February 2023. The debt was on accounts in his name alone. Rachel's credit was clean. Her teacher's salary and his logistics income were sufficient for their joint expenses. The hidden debt was entirely his, entirely unknown to her, and entirely incompatible with the financial picture he had been presenting to his wife and to the life insurance underwriter who had approved the $1.2 million policy in January 2023. The $1.2 million policy was the investigation's first financial evidence. It had been taken out 1 month before the thallium exposure began. Lethal dose weight, and how long does thallium poisoning take? January 2023, thallium sulfate buy online, and rodenticide thallium available and thallium in food undetectable. February 2023, thallium sulfate dissolve in water and thallium coffee water dose. March through August 2023, periodic searches for thallium symptoms progression, thallium hair loss timeline, thallium neuropathy, and on 4 separate occasions in July and September. When does thallium poisoning become fatal? The purchase. Thallium sulfate was purchased by David Moreno through a specialty chemical supply website on February 1, 2023, using a prepaid debit card purchased with cash at a convenience store in Houston during a work trip. The prepaid card was traced to the Houston purchase through the chemical supplier's order fulfillment records, which matched the shipping address of parcel forwarding service in Austin that was linked to a second prepaid card registered to a name that did not exist. That chain of anonymized transactions took the Bexar County Digital Forensics Unit 4 days to unwind. At the end of the 4 days, they had a shipping record that placed thallium sulfate in a parcel addressed to a service that forwarded mail to David Moreno's work address. The thallium sulfate, in a small amber glass bottle, was found in a locked toolbox in the garage of the Moreno residence, wrapped in a plastic bag, beneath a layer of automotive rags. He had not thrown it away. 8 months of poisoning his wife, and the bottle was in his garage. Still containing a residual amount. Still with his fingerprints on the inside of the toolbox lid. Detective Ibarra and a victim services advocate from the Bexar County District Attorney's Office drove to the friend's house where Rachel Moreno was waiting on October 11th at 5:22 p.m. approximately 3.5 hours after Dr. Anand's call. Rachel has described what she saw when the two of them walked in, a detective and a person carrying a box of tissues and a card with phone numbers on it. She said she knew, from the box of tissues, that what she was about to be told was not a mistake or a concern or a precaution. She said, "When you see the tissues before anyone has said anything, you know it's going to be the kind of thing you need to sit down for." Something was wrong, who had spent 8 months wondering if she was the problem, who had gone to a friend's house and sat on a sofa and waited 3.5 hours for an explanation. Timeline that the prosecution would use at trial to show the jury 8 months of deliberate poisoning in a single graph. During those 34 days, Rachel Moreno did not return to the marital home. David Moreno was under surveillance and did not know it. On October 19th, He searched for the term thallium test blood, apparently attempting to understand whether Rachel's doctors had identified the cause of her symptoms. The interview. She wasn't supposed to survive. Unprompted. After 12 I read every one. Take care of yourselves. I will see you in the next one.